Okay, we appear to be live. One second. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue how this is gonna work. So I don't know, like, let me look on my phone real quick. What's up, Lettuce? I'm testing the vertical live stream, but I have no clue if it's like even working. I got on my phone. Okay, yeah, no, it's working. So people should be able to like be like while you're scrolling through shorts, you just come across my live stream. Joseph Joestar, that's not me. That's someone else. You're thinking of someone else. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to test this real quick. I wanted to do this way earlier today, but I was tired. So I waited until I'm even more tired. Hold on, let me make an announcement. Looks horizontal to me. I think you have to be... Happy birthday. It's not my birthday. I think you have to be on mobile in order to see this as vertical. I got a question. What's that? Looks like you're shooting from an iPhone. Okay, cool. That's what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, no. So when you open your phone, the whole point is that when you open your phone, you're going to see me on the phone. Like you're, duh, but you're going to, sorry, you're going to see like this format. Did Joven give you the idea? Joven did in fact give me the idea, yes. So yeah, I am stealing from Joven. Joven. Joe Biden. That doesn't work very well. I was trying to do the Joe Biden meme. Joe Biden. You have to yield. Oh, before we get started, I got a voice acting role, guys. An unpaid Minecraft voice acting role. Here. I'll show you guys the clip that got me the role. There you are. So the idea is that, like, I was supposed to sound like L from this clip. Oh, wait, I guess I shouldn't show it, huh? Be a bad idea. But L from, what's it called? Damn, I'm getting a lot of viewers. More than I expected. I'm supposed to sound like L from Death Note. So this is what I sound like.
Efficiency above all else. We have a mission to accomplish, and I expect nothing less than perfection from each of you.
It's not the role I expected to land, for sure.
Sentimentality has no place in our line of work. Emotions only cloud judgment and hinder progress. I've seen too much suffering caused by this war. It ends now, one way or another.
I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, I'm just going to be playing some Risky Rain. And, oh yeah, I forgot to make a new channel. I gotta make a channel, here, stream, waiting, voice channel, stream waiting room. Oh wait, there's already, hold on, there's already a waiting room channel. Edit channel. Yeah, everyone, okay. Should be open, everyone. Alright, let me make an announcement. Jeez, these vertical live streams are crazy. I already got 41 viewers. Testing vertical. Leftist debate call-ins. I don't know how long I'm going to be going, guys. I could be going for like less than an hour. We'll just go until I give out. No. It's not supposed to be about Death Note. No, the whole point was I was supposed to sound like the guy. It's not hard to sound insane and raspy nasally. Thanks! You know, I feel like I put a lot of heart into that, but thank you. You know what? Go ahead and shit on my efforts. That's fine. You plebeians. You know nothing of my work. Nothing. I'm gonna play Bandit again, because I've been trying... If you guys haven't noticed, every fucking time I play this game, it's Bandit. Because I feel like I'm trying constantly to fucking finish this, and I just never do. So, before I continue, if you would like to debate me, you can get into my Discord channel, alright, which you can find, my Discord server, which you can find in the description of the YouTube video. You can find it in the description. I was trying to fix the Discord command, but for some reason Stream Elements is being a piece of shit. So you gotta go to the description, find, stop giving me advice. I know what I'm doing. You gotta go to the description of the YouTube video, find the Discord link, and then go into there. And then you can jump into any voice channel and I'll pull you in. So yeah, here, let me turn this up a little bit. Oh, master volume, we gotta have that at least 10%. No, not 10. A little loud. I think 5% should be good. It's still a little loud. I just want it like a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Anyone says voice acting? Yeah, for real, voice acting is not easy. Fucking plebeians. Give me a leftist a reason to debate you. I was debating somebody in Discord about whether free will is real. I think it is. But apparently a lot of leftists don't, and I just don't like that. I think that free will is cool. And I think believing in free will is cool. Okay. Free Willy, baby. So if you don't believe in free will, you are more than welcome to debate me on it, although it will probably be more of just a discussion about how, like, we can't really prove it, so it's just more practical to believe in it. I'm just saying. This is a good game to play in vertical. You can see all the items. I was a little bit worried about it, but you can see all the items, which is nice. It's gonna go well, I can tell. Oh, son of a bitch. I don't know enough on the subject, so I'll just watch. Fair enough. But, yeah, anything you think you might disagree with me on. I mean, I've disagreed with leftist some things before. Gender abolition, that's another thing I was arguing with somebody about. I believe in gender abolition. But not every leftist does. That's okay, hot take Andy. I heard our subconscious makes decisions before we're aware of them, which I think is a cooler argument than determinism, but I don't know where I stand on it. Vertical looks hella good on my phone. Excellent. That's the idea. All you phone junkies, this is for you. Son of a bitch. Oh, you bitch. Okay. Abolish them genders. Stop with the base takes, let me argue you. Here, hold on. I gotta make sure I'm keeping an eye on, the voice waiting room. Who wants to take on the leftist? Who wants to jump into the ring with Alec Gunter tonight? I don't know if I'll have any takers, but I mainly just wanted to test the vertical live streaming and see how it goes. See if I get any new ones in the chat. Because I heard you can reach brand new audiences with this. It might help to also go live on TikTok, but I don't feel like dealing with their TOS, honestly. Like the stream? Yeah, you can hop into the stream if you want to take me on in a debate. But I warn you, you may be getting more than you bargained for. I'm pretty good. I consider myself an intellectual debater. Can I speak with you about free will? Absolutely. Hop into a voice channel. Here, we got a taker. Hold up. Alright, we got a taker. There we go. You are muted. Can you unmute? Whoa! Hello, hello! You need cat ear headphones like Joven? True. That'd be sick. Okay, well that didn't work. Let's bring in the next one. Hello.
Oh,
Hello, how are you?
good. How are you? I wasn't actually expecting to be called in yet.
Oh yeah, we just started, so you know, I'm just pulling people in as they come. So, welcome, welcome. So what would you like to talk about?
To be honest, I wasn't. I didn't come in here with a set goal, but
Okay.
I've developed one.
Sure.
I would like to argue with you about the Sorry, my brain's a little scattered right now.
Same here.
Thank you. I noticed that you had an interesting take a little bit ago. Let me pull it up. About. Sorry. You had. I was pulling it up to be ready for when you called me, and I thought you had someone else before me.
That's okay, take your time. I did have somebody else, and then, like, something happened.
Okay, thank you. So you kind of had an interesting take when Gamergate 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I kind of think that, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, you basically said that you didn't think that it would be effective, like there wouldn't be, like it wouldn't be as effective as last time, like the Gamergate outrage wouldn't boil over, correct?
Yeah, I just don't think it will be. I don't see it evolving past a certain point.
So I've kind of been watching a lot of these older channels, and I kind of disagree with you on this one.
Sure.
Because I've noticed that channels like Melanie MacGoBoom, I don't know if you've heard of her.
I have.
they've been getting a lot more direct with their statements, and it doesn't seem to actually be negatively affecting them in any way. Like I myself just did a video going over her most recent X-Men video, and she was just like saying the F word in the video, like just pretty direct, vehement uh, dialogue that isn't really being pushed back on in any way by
Damn.
these communities.
That's pretty cringe. I mean, I'm open to being wrong. You know, it's possible that it could evolve past, you know, and reach and perhaps even, God forbid, exceed the level that Gamergate, or you know, the OG Gamergate was at. But from what I've seen, you know, like the death threats and everything, and the rape threats, you know, all of that stuff is. You know, it's stuff that the FBI themselves kind of turned a blind eye to. This is the best of my understanding. They turned a blind eye to it because they're like, oh, this is just like gamer shit, Xbox Live shit. Like, this won't actually evolve into anything serious, right? But I think the FBI right now is actually taking it very seriously, these death threats that are getting pushed at, you know, people from, like, Sweet Baby Inc. and all that. So I don't think that these big companies and the FBI will let it happen.
My main concern is more so the social media companies like YouTube and Twitter not really caring enough to actually put any checks and balances on this group. Like I think YouTube and Twitter are both kind of being run by people who are sympathetic to it right now.
Sure, but I think not many organizations are sympathetic to Twitter itself. So, I think there's a point there that, like, obviously one of the largest social media companies is owned by Elon Musk, who's like a pretty open fascist now. But at the same time, you know, his app, you know, he's been forced to concede on a lot of stuff because otherwise his app is going to be banned in some countries, and he does not want that. So he's still beholden to those interests in some ways.
True, but I don't know. Like YouTube, the newest CEO is like a huge Trump supporter. You know, he got photographed with him.
I don't know. I mean, I'm open to being wrong on it. I don't think from what I've seen that it will evolve to the point that the former Gamergate was at. And if people are openly using slurs like that, like, that's one thing. But I'm more concerned about the death and rape threats that were being sent all over the place. You know, obviously the slurs are, like, bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not a death threat. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not downplaying the violence aspect
Sure.
of the. But my main concern, because these death threats haven't stopped. Like anyone that's worked in this industry can tell you that they're just as bad as they've ever been. But my main concern is like a co-opting of culture. You know, like these groups are going to, like, because it's the same thing with like Star Wars back in the day. Like they've kind of infested a lot of culture and made it not a very good and welcoming place for a lot of leftists or like queer people. And that's my main concern. Like, is that culture is being kind of co-opted by extremists.
I wouldn't want anybody to get the idea that we shouldn't be wary. If that's your main contention, then I can understand that. But, you know, besides that, like, the original Gamergate was pretty fucking bad. And we're going to see, like, we're going to see it get worse before it gets better. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I would be very surprised, though, to see it reach the level of the former Gamergate. That's all. I would, like, I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could, but I still lean towards it's just not going to get to that point. The subject we're talking about is Gamergate and Gamergate 2.
Well, I mean, just like cultural backlash in general. My theory is that this time around it's going to be about like movies and cartoons.
That's certainly possible.
I mean, I don't hope you're wrong. I hope you're right. And
of course,
an optimistic outlook.
It is, and you know, I could be wrong. This is not something that I have like a hardline view on, and I would have to look more into specifics just to, really solidify my view. But from what I've seen, I just don't think it's going to happen. That's all.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you.
No problem. You have a good day.
Alrighty. You have as well. Thank you. This won't get as bad because it's only cis hetero men complaining. That could be true. Sorry, my brain's outburning at like 25% capacity. Do we have anybody else waiting? Not at the moment. Okay, we got Wodgers back. See if they're working this time. Wodgers? Hello?
Yeah, you can call me Watcherus.
Wodger? Am I saying that right?
Watcherus.
Watchers.
A bit of an odd name, I know.
Like watch, like watchers?
Waj Hurris.
Waj Hurris. Okay, I'll try to get that right. Waj Hurris. Okay.
You
How
can just
you
call
doing
me
tonight?
Wad. I'm doing well.
Good. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, so I was hoping I could chat with you just a little bit about free will.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, okay. So, if I could just, like, clarify your position.
Sure.
You're of the view that free will, like we have free will. Like we're creatures that are in control of our actions. That if I were to raise my hand now, I've just raised my hand, that I could have done otherwise. That's your position?
Yeah, I tend to think that that's the way it works. Yeah. I mean, we're influenced, but by various things, and we can be manipulated into thinking or doing certain things. I don't deny that, but ultimately, I do bestow agency upon my fellow man. That's kind of how I view it.
Okay. So, here's, like, I used to be, like, very much of that opinion as well. But one of the things that kind of broke that was, like, this, like, thought experiment. So, oftentimes when we try to think about why we do things, we go to, like, our nature, right? We have a certain nature to do something. Like, my personality, my beliefs, my history, or yours, or any person's, leads them to do a certain action, right?
Sure.
So let's take, your nature at any given moment, right? Like, let's call it N. But that came from you developing that earlier on, right? And at that point, you had a nature that was different. We can call it, like, M. And if you keep going back, there has to be a nature of you at a previous state, which leads you to the nature at that new state. So that leads to an infinite regress, wouldn't it? Wouldn't there have to be something which was, like, out of our control, which led to that first nature?
Yeah, but you're presented with a series of choices throughout your life, and you get to make that choice. So, like, you can, like, depending on which choices you're presented with, you can turn out differently. I'm not denying that. But to say that, like, you didn't have any say in those choices, to me, is depriving you of a very, like, human component. And I first of all, I don't like that, and second of all, that's not necessarily true. We assume that, like, everything was, like, if you were to assume that there's no free will, like, from what I understand, the assumption is that, like, everything was set in motion from the very beginning, and we have a preset, ordained future, whatever, because of chemical reactions, whatever. But, like, we don't understand science that well. There are plenty of things that are just random, and that randomosity is kind of a component of what I consider to be part of free will. Like, for instance, we don't know exactly where each electron is going to be at any given point. So, who's to say that there's not an element of free will in all matter and energy? I'm not saying that everything can choose it, like, what it can do, but, like, an element of consciousness, perhaps, like, we just don't know. And to me, that would make just as much sense as there being nothing there, conscientious-wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, yeah, this is, like, one of the common, like, rebuttals that we see a lot, because our physics has developed quite a bit. We get, like, the idea of quantum physics, and, I'm not a quantum physician, so I can't give you the details myself, but,
Sure.
My understanding is that, there's things which are just kind of, like, coin flips, Schrodinger's cat, what have you. But if we consider those cases where it's just genuinely random, where there's like no prior information can give us clues on what will happen in the future with this event, in that case, do you feel like we really have the agency there? Like, let's say there's a neuron firing, and like it's based off quantum actions, right? And it's determining me, okay, am I going to get vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream? That one neuron. That's simplifying, of course, but
Sure.
do you think we still have agency in that regard? It seems like it's more up to that neuron, like that one individual quantum action, than us. It feels like we're still deprived of some agency there, even though there is an element of randomness.
Sure, but you're that neuron. Like, that neuron is you.
Okay.
So the fact that neuron's making the choice, you're still the one making the choice.
Yeah, but it didn't occur in isolation, right? It came as a result of various other factors. Maybe those were also quantum, coin flips as well. But it feels like, going back to that infinite regress thing again, you didn't have agency over those individual things as well. So even if we zoom into this moment, it's like, determined by a bunch of other, random things. It feels like we're eliminating ourselves some degree of agency here, right?
Sorry, can you put that a little simpler? I'm kind of dumb right now. It's very late.
Yeah. So if you think about like that one neuron, it's like a coin flip. Heads or tails, chocolate or vanilla. The quantum action happens one way or another, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But the fact that you're at that point, right, where you're like, okay, chocolate or vanilla, that's determined by a bunch of other brain states, right? Because that moment didn't happen in isolation, right? If you think about, our whole lives are one big event. It's all connected.
Oh, sure. You're socially influenced from the day you're born.
Not even talking just like socially influenced, just
right,
a bit
by
of a
various
biochemical
factors.
level. Yeah.
Right.
So wouldn't you say that, like, even if there is an element of randomness there, we don't really influence it to like a, we don't influence it beyond a non-trivial extent.
Yeah, but even like accounting for that, you can still say, even if there is influence from the outside, that there's an element of choice somewhere in there. You know what I mean? Like, you're still making a choice.
Even if we accept, there's this other debate as well. It's kind of like downstream, free will a bit. It's called the debate about second order volitions. So think about it this way. I may choose, vanilla ice cream, like really choose, like in a free will sense, choose vanilla ice cream, right?
Sure.
Could I choose to want a vanilla ice cream? It feels like I kind of just do, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't, I don't have power over what I want. In the same way, we wouldn't say like, a gay person wants to like dudes. They kind of just do,
But you could just choose not to. You could choose not to get any ice cream, even if you want vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, but then you're like what influenced you wanting to want not to get ice cream, right? It feels like there's some other thing there, like, I don't know, you caring about your health or something, which is overriding that, first order want to get ice cream.
So I guess, at the end of the day, to me, it feels like a choice. So who am I to say that it's not? You know what I mean? Like, what good does it do?
Yeah, and it might very well be a choice, right?
Yeah.
Vanilla or chocolate, that could very well be, like, genuinely in a free will sense. But at the same time, do you have power over what you want to want? Even if you choose to pick vanilla over chocolate, you didn't choose to like vanilla more. You just always liked vanilla more. Even if you were to change over time, that wasn't really a choice that you made. It's just something that developed over time. Like, let's say you always pick chocolate, and you're like, okay, I'm kind of liking chocolate more. You didn't choose to start liking chocolate. You just got it a lot, and that just developed.
Sure, and we have these associations and these, preset, I guess, our default settings, if you will. But like, with this information, you can still make choices based upon it. So if my default setting is, I like vanilla ice cream the best, But you know what? I haven't had chocolate in 5 years. I'll try chocolate this time. Like we're given a set of information and then we make choices based upon that information. Is my way of looking at it.
So we have like this set of information that it's like, okay, today's a chocolate day.
Yeah.
That's like influencing. It's still us making that decision, but there's this like framework which we're building our decisions off of. Is that your position?
I guess more or less. It's complicated, and honestly, it could. I'm not against the idea that there's no free will. I just like, I don't find it very, like, practical to believe that. So I just don't. That ultimately, that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah. Truth be told, I believe in free will as well.
Okay.
But I feel like these questions kind of hit at something like much more fundamental, especially those point about like second order volitions. If you think about it, it's like, to an extent, do I really want what I want? I feel like I kind of just do. So, where do those come from? And if you go even further, do you want to want to want what you want? Lots of wants. It gets real complicated real quick.
Oh, for sure.
But I think it shows a bit of a thing in us humans where we just kind of have like a nature. At some point, there's something that we just don't have control over. Our likes, our desires, our beliefs. They kind of just stem from some point where we just don't have some control over them. And that's fine. That doesn't mean, free will is false in that sense. It just means that there's just something which we just ultimately don't have full power over.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, we don't have power over everything. We don't have power over we don't have full power over our preferences, I should say. We can certainly influence them to some extent, but, there's all kinds of variables that we just can't account for. And so we have, again, we're just given this set of information. We must do with it what we will. And that's where I see the free choice element kind of comes into play. Is not necessarily the information that we're given, but what we do with it. Yeah, of course we can't account for everything, but like we can't choose to want vanilla ice cream, but we can choose what we do with that info. If there's like let's say there's a rainbow sherbet that day. Oh, I've never tried rainbow sherbet. Let's try that instead. Even though I know for a fact that I'm going to enjoy vanilla ice cream if I get it, but I've never tried sherbet, so maybe I'll like that better. I don't know. So like we work with the information we're given, and then we make choices based on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, I guess that kind of hits on all the points I wanted to say. Good conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the esoteric, I suppose, the unknown. The question of free will is very complicated, and like it's mainly just a fun philosophical discussion more than anything. So I appreciate you coming on.
There's this there's a philosopher named Hume, and he said something to the effect of, I like examining all of these philosophical theories, but they all kind of fall apart when I have to pay my bank fees.
That is true. Yeah. It's a good point. All right.
Yeah, he was
anything else
talking about Descartes' skepticism, but I think it kind of is the same thing. Anyway, good talking to you. I think there's somebody else who wants to chat with you, so have a good night.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Hey, you too as well. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Someone else who wants to talk to me. Let's take a look. Debate requests. Oh. If you're in... Okay, here. Jump into any voice channel, and I'll pull you in. I wonder if we're going to get any judges tonight. Would be interesting. Man, my view count's all over the place. We started at 40, then we went down to 19, now we're back up to 36. Vertical live streaming is interesting. Oh shit. Also, this is going to be shitty gameplay. I might switch over to Rocket League at some point. It's like less intense. Which one to teach you for how you pronounce sherbet? It's not sherbert, it's sherbet. Sherbert. Sherbert! Sure, Bert, we can do that. He left the server. What? Prompt Gnostic from Discord. If you're still in the chat, jump into any voice channel. And for anybody who's here who wants to debate me or discuss anything, you can jump into the Discord using the link in the description and go into any voice channel and I'll pull you in. Son of a bitch, that was cheap as shit! Did you see that? Fuck this, I'm going to Rocket League. That was such bullshit. Oh, they stopped watching that? Watching what? Man. We had somebody named Prompt Gnostic jump in. Prompt Gnostic, if you're still there, I would love to discuss with you. Yes, I'm rage quitting. I'm going to fucking Rocket League. What do you feel like debating? Maybe we have differing views, but don't know how to come up with that topic. I mean, the debates I like the best are usually about like gender shit, LGBTQ, abortion, religion. Religion's a good one. Just like, you know, shit that like chuds would argue. Oh yeah, I forgot I got this bad boy. What did I call this? Hold up. Old Glory, baby. That's what it's called. Old Glory. Let's see. The Sigmobile. The Leprechaun. The Bimobile. Fab Cab. Oh yeah, Free Palisteer. It's a pretty good one. Fuck it, we'll do this one. Kids trying to sleep, otherwise I need a satanic Bible review of the story of Job. Do time zones make sense? What are they based on? And what if we just had one time? Time zones, I don't like them, to be honest. Well, no, I don't know. Like, I'm mixed on it. Alright, Quiet is back for more. We will pull him in. Back for more, are we?
Yes.
Alrighty.
I actually have a contentious topic because I believe that you're kind of an
$9.99 from Balthazar 228. Can't gift subs on site because it can't connect to PayPal Pepe hands.
I might have to disable text to what is it? A voice to whatever it's called. Text to voice. TTS.
Text to voice?
Yeah, I might hold on, I gotta disable
I find it
that.
really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, as much as I hate to do that. Rocket League reminds me of Hot Wheels. Thank you so much for the $10 though, Balthazar. I appreciate you very much. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry. I was gonna make small talk about the Hot Wheels video game, but we'll get right into it. You're an atheist, correct?
Yes.
I'll be honest, no offense, but I kind of get a lot of the leftist streamers confused. You're pretty like anti-religion, yeah, like.
I think the world would be better without any religion, yes.
Okay.
But that being said, it's not one of those things that I try to worry too much about. As long as you're not hurting other people, I think it's fine to believe in whatever you believe in. And also, like, I've seen religion help people with some stuff sometimes, when nothing else really has worked. I think that other things could work better in a world without religion. I just think things would be better in general without it, but like if it works for you, then fine. I'm not gonna complain about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was under the impression that you were like a vehement anti-theist. When I think that religion is quite positive most of the time. Not most of the time.
I think it can be. I think it can be.
Yeah.
It has the propensity to be. And honestly, I call myself an atheist for the simplicity of it, but I don't know if I'm completely irreligious because I do believe in like to some extent I do believe like there's more than just what we see in front of us. You know, like I think there's some level of like, if you want to call it spiritualness, I guess, in the universe, like I don't think that it's just what we see, if that makes sense. I think there's more than meets the eye.
Would it
But
be accurate to call you agnostic?
an agnostic atheist is what I usually call myself, in the sense that like I don't believe in any preset religions, but I guess the most accurate would be agnostic theist. But I don't really ascribe to any specific religion. So that just, like, for simplicity's sake, I just call myself an atheist. Then I don't get any questions. You know what I mean? Like, people understand.
Were you raised religious?
I was raised Catholic.
And I don't know, did you have a negative experience with that?
It wasn't the most negative, but it wasn't the most positive either. Like, could have been better, for sure.
So we come from a very similar background, I guess, suppose, because I was also kind of raised in a Catholic area.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't have the best experience growing up, but I do think that overall that there's still a lot of positives that can come from it.
That can come from it. I just think that those positives can be achieved through other means. You know, like you don't need religion to teach you that like hitting people is bad. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, I was more so referring.
Go ahead.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that an atheist can't be moral or whatever. But I do think that there is a, growing up, I always felt like there was not a lot of like community spaces that I could fit into. However, putting aside my own doubts about religion as a child, I was always able to kind of count on a religious community. I think that's more the aspects of religion that I think is positive, the community that it builds.
I think the community aspect can be good, but it can also be harmful, because that's how you get cults sometimes, right? Like you get communities full of people that are scared to leave, or that are
I was more so talking
other.
like, sorry, I was more so talking like, I don't know, like a barbecue at a church event, not. Community is in the sense of there's a place that you can go to and talk to someone and have friends easily. And
I think it's stuff that you can get without religion. Anything good that you can say about religion, you can get it without it. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with you on that though.
Really?
Because growing up like in a small town, the only thing people had in common really was religion. Like I think a lot of people are kind of there's this a concept of there's a place for everyone. When you live in a town of 400 people and all of them are Christian in some way, but you may like, I don't know, fucking comic book. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
No, it's fine.
You like comic books or something, and no one else in your town likes comic books. You have interests that don't align. However, since you were both all raised in the same religion, you can tend to have that as a sticking point with your community.
But in an ideal world, you would find somebody with something in common. Like at the end of the day, it's just a book club at that point. Like you're just both weebs for God. You know what I mean? Like that's all that is.
True. It's a book club for the most popular book, though.
Sure, and that's fine, but you can do that without actually believing the shit that happens in the book. Like what if one other person in your town likes Harry Potter? Or like let's say that you live in a town full of people who love Harry Potter.
I don't believe in God, mind you. I just think
that's fine.
The structure of being raised in a religious area, I think that structure was more beneficial than not.
I just find it vapid. I find it empty. You know, like, okay, the only thing you have in common is religion. Then why do I want to associate with those people at all? Like, I don't know. It seems empty at that point.
Well, have you never bonded over a shared absence of religion, like with another person that was atheist or agnostic in your case?
I mean, I've connected with people over it, but for one thing, it's more rare to find somebody like that than not. And so that is a point of connection. And then for another thing, usually that's where that ends. You know, like, oh, we're both atheists, but then like what else is there about you? You know, like if your entire identity is you're an atheist, I'm not going to like you very much.
I suppose you're correct in that.
Yeah.
My my only thing is, okay, sorry.
Okay.
I think that I'm not very good at debates.
It's fine. We're just having a discussion.
I think there you are correct that it is just a book club, and you know that it's the nerdiest book club probably that exists.
Oh yeah.
But I think that there isn't really another example of something that is so widespread and prevalent. Like everyone in America, at least, has an experience with religion, and it's an easy way to build a community out of. And I do think that that community is beneficial, but I think that the alternative would be like nationalist fervor or like rally behind the flag stuff. And I think that is worse than a religious upbringing.
Yeah, but those two tend to go hand in hand, though. Yes, like we have Christian nationalism now circulating. Like I just think they're like in an ideal world, you would connect with people that actually have shit with that in common with you. You know what I mean?
Sure, in an ideal world, but I think most of America, you know, that necessarily isn't an option for a lot of people.
No, no. But this is an end goal we're working toward. In an ideal society, I don't think religion should exist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think that everything good that you can glean from religion, you could get from something else.
I think that, you know, if we're talking like able to like if we were like, you know, Thanos snapping, I hate that analogy, but that's a good analogy.
Okay.
Like instant changing the world, you know? Then yeah, I would agree with you that perhaps there is a better alternative to religion, and maybe the world would be better off without religion. But I think that religion still has a very useful role in society in building those communities. That because like I don't can you is there another alternative for like a unifying kind of cultural zeitgeist that we can create?
I mean, if we're speaking in hypotheticals, I could make one based off of Jujutsu Kaisen. You know what I mean? Like like a Jujutsu Kaisen fandom, like and just make people believe that
hey,
that like
if
is
you can
actually
make everyone on Earth, or at least most people on Earth, like Jujutsu Kaisen, I think that's an anime. Yeah.
Yes.
I would happily go to your anime conventions.
Right. So start me off with a society which has way fewer people and not very much hope in their lives, and I will show them Jujutsu Kaisen, and I will make them believe that that's all shit that actually happened, and that we should all worship Gojo.
I mean, yeah, hey, I can't.
That's
like,
what you need to start off somewhere, but that's
I've
how
always
religion
said that-
started.
I've always said that we should do part of schooling should be like basically like book clubs, but for like popular culture.
That'd be amazing.
Teaching kids to build a community off of like common interests. I think that would be a good idea.
I think it would too. Honestly, I'm surprised that there's not more literature on One Piece, because that's the most popular one of the most popular pieces of media that currently exists.
I got 3 episodes in, and I wanted to die a little bit.
It takes a minute. I tell people if they can get to episode 37, and they still don't want to watch it, then maybe it's not for them. But I think
I'll try out they're reanimating it or something like that.
Yes, and hopefully that will
I'll
be
try
better.
that out.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, my point is, like if you could start me off with a society of people that are very hopeless with short lifespans and lots of dead people and no like basically just a hopeless civilization like we've had for most of human society, then yeah, I could convince them of just about anything that'll give them hope, you know. So why not just, you know, convince them of a reality where we don't need fake hope, Because we don't need it.
I mean, I get what you're saying about the hope thing, but that's not necessarily the aspect I enjoy. It's the commonality of religion. Hope is a good thing, and I think there are alternatives to hope. But my main thought is, so I don't know. Can I use an example, an anecdote?
Sure.
As a child, I grew up in a community because my mother is Jewish, so I wasn't exactly like very well liked as a kid. However, when I went to Catholic school, I was able to pretend to just be like everyone else necessarily, and you were able to form a community of like a very diverse community, at least in my area, was the church. Through schooling or other spaces, it was not very diverse. It ended up being a somewhat cordoned off sort of I don't know what the proper word is. People would kind of flock to their own groups outside of the church, but in the church, everyone was kind of treated more or less as on the same playing field. Does that make sense?
I think so. So, sorry, was that your point? Is that like? Can you restate your point? I'm sorry, my brain.
I'm gonna try and make it simple, but I probably rambled. I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'm so tired right now. I don't feel like sleeping.
My point is, I think religion, when used as like a way to kind of, in my area at least, the Catholic Church is very diverse. So you got Mexicans, Asians, white people, all different groups that outside of the church don't really interact that much in like community spaces, but inside the church they kind of mingle a lot more. And I think that that is one of the positive effects, at least from what I've seen in my area, that religion brings.
But couldn't you? Okay, but anime conventions do that too.
True, but I'm having a harder time getting my racist uncle to like anime than to be like, hey, that Mexican guy I go to church with is all right.
We're not trying hard enough then, because I got my racist dad to like, which he's less racist these days, but to like JoJo. So that's a skill
I got
issue.
my dad to watch Invincible.
That's cool.
That can get me some points.
Okay, that's cool. I don't know. Like, again, religion is just like one big fandom, and if you're going to try to convince me that another fandom wouldn't do the same job under the same circumstances, you're gonna have a hard time. Like, we already have religion as a respected there's precedent, a respected institution with precedent. The only difference between that and an anime club is that an anime club does not have nearly the precedent that a religion does.
True, and also it's a little more niche in a way.
Yes, it is more niche, but again, it's part of the precedent thing.
Sure. I think that my best answer would be maybe folklore. At least America doesn't have a lot of folklore. At least like national, so like not of a national scale. I think that maybe like other countries can use that to rally their people in a non-toxic way.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Oh, a lot of countries on Earth and a lot of regions in America have local folklore, like legends and stories and chupacabra and bullshit like that. And I think that that offers a level of shared community identity that a lot of places in America don't necessarily have. And
That's fair.
I think that,
Go ahead.
oh, I think that would be nice. This is what I was going to say.
But the shared community aspect can come from any number of things. That's my thing. Like, you don't actually have to believe in chupacabra in order to have that community. You don't have to believe in falsehoods. You don't have to believe in things that don't exist or don't have any evidence of existing in order to have that community. You could just have a book club, like I said. I feel like we're kind of circling the drain here. But again, this is like anything that you could get, like, community-wise from religion, you could get from something else.
Sure. I think that until we figure out a way to make anime watched by every American, I think religion has a place in society for now.
Oh, it certainly has a place. I just think that I envision a society where it doesn't need to have a place.
I can agree with that, I suppose.
All right, cool. I think we're on the same page for the most part.
My dad isn't racist, by the way, Nathan. I was trying to relate to Alec.
I mean, my dad has said some things, but he's a good guy. He's a little confused sometimes. That's all.
You
know how it
I
is.
can see that. Yeah.
The lead poisoning.
My dad is a well-meaning guy. He's just kind of wrong-headed.
Yeah, exactly. Same with my dad.
Well, thank you for talking to me again. I don't have anything else to say, I suppose.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see if anybody else hops in, but in the meantime, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
I'll be back if I get an itch on my shoulder.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I'm waiting for chuds, man. I'm waiting for some like juicy shit. I need people talking about like fucking LGTV and the trans question, you know, shit like that. But yeah, like I said, like I don't know, like you could just as easily, and with superstition comes bigotry. That is true. Sounds like a euphemism for someone who espouses bigotry. Okay, yeah, but like, listen. That was close. Like, oh shit, we got Wajahers again. Hold up. Hello. Welcome back.
You wanted some chud positions.
Perhaps, yes.
I think I might just have that for you.
Okay.
I'm
excited.
I think I can defend the thesis that God exists.
Oh, interesting. This should be an interesting one. Let's hear it.
Okay. Laying it out, coming from an Islamic perspective, though
Okay.
I'm familiar with Judaism and Christianity. So I guess there's not really much to lay out there. But I guess I'll just go with one argument to start with. So, you would agree that, like, all things which exist have a cause, right?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard this argument before. But
Okay.
but then the question would become, what caused God?
No, it's a bit less ambitious than that.
Okay.
So, just starting off, everything which exists has a cause. Can you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So, everything that exists has a cause. Now, the universe exists. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Therefore, the universe has a cause.
I would assume, yes.
Mm-hmm. And would you agree that the idea that the universe has existed for an infinite amount of time, going backwards, is absurd?
Well, what would an alternate explanation be?
A personal creator.
Okay, but what caused that creator?
What caused that creator?
Yeah.
Well, you see, if something has, infinite power, it's possible.
What caused that infinite power?
What caused that infinite power? It just is.
Why? Why should I accept that?
Why should you accept it? Because you
Why
can
can't
imagine
I not just say the
having-
universe just is?
Well, like, by what mechanism? Does the universe have infinite power? Where does it draw from?
By what mechanism does God have infinite power?
Oh, this is a postulate.
Yeah, but I could just as easily postulate the universe itself has infinite power.
Okay, well, where's the evidence for that?
Where's the evidence for God having infinite power?
Well, the universe, the fact that the universe exists.
Okay, what gave God that infinite power to create the universe?
Well, you see, if I were to say something gave God that infinite power, that wouldn't be sacrificing the thesis that God exists, because I can just move the concept of God to whatever that creature is.
Say that again.
Okay, so you're asking, you're challenging the idea that God has infinite power. Okay, fine. And you say, well, what gave God that power, right? So I'm saying,
Yes.
whatever gave God, or whatever gave the creator that power, if we work backwards enough, we'll find something which has infinite power, right?
No, I'm saying that we can just keep going backward and backward and backward. Like, there are things that we simply will never understand, and that's one of them. We don't know, like, exactly how or why things, because it's a rule of science that we cannot create matter from nothing, and yet matter exists. So where did it come from? We don't know, and I don't know if we ever will.
So let's say we have a thing which is a power 1, right?
Sure.
And something which is a power 1 can create something which is a power 0.1, right?
Sure.
Okay. And would you agree that it's impossible for something of power 1 to create something power 2?
I have no clue. I don't know.
Okay, so let me phrase it another way. Do you think
Sure.
something physical can make something non-physical?
Something physical can make something non-physical, like creating a spirit.
Uh, Not even necessarily. Spirit is a loaded term, so
Okay.
maybe let's avoid the term spirit. Do you think something physical could make, or do you think something physical can make something non-physical?
You can convert matter to energy, but if you mean like even beyond that, like something that exists outside of our realm of reality, I would agree that you like something that exists cannot make something that doesn't exist.
Okay, so, uh, okay, when you say the term doesn't exist, do you mean like the same way unicorns don't exist, or the same way like square circles don't exist?
You cannot create that which is like you can't make matter out of nothing.
Okay.
And you also can't make something that like doesn't follow the laws of physics.
You can't make something which is logically contradictory, right?
Yeah, you
You
can't
can't
break the
have
laws of
square
physics.
circles, you can't have married bachelors, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you say even then that it's possible for something within those confines to have infinite power? Not even like if it's true, just if it's possible. Or do you think the idea of
Possible.
infinite power is just inherently inconceivable?
Well, when you say infinite power, what does that entail?
Well, we can imagine something which has some power X, but something else which is more powerful than it, with some power Y. Something more powerful than it with some power Z. If we keep working this through, it leads us to something which has infinite power. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
But it would be a limit, like it would keep going up and up and up and up, but it would never reach infinity.
But why not?
Because the concept of infinity is beyond mathematics. Like like we can reach a limit, but like infinity itself is something that is not actually like it's not quantifiable, it's not reachable. It exists only in theory.
Okay. So in that case, if we have the concept of infinity, which just exists theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't you think there's some infinities that could exist? Like there exists an infinite number of digits between there exists an uncountable number of infinite digits between 0 and 1, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't you say that infinity kind of exists, so to speak?
It exists, but it's really complicated. I guess it exists, but like not in. I don't know how to explain this. This is a complicated discussion.
So okay, there's a distinction. There's called actual infinities and countable infinities, right?
Okay.
So we could imagine like there's a train track, and there's people on the train track, and the train is barreling down, and killing them one by one, right? In that case, it would be morally justified to kill or to stop the train because it's not killing people anymore. That's like countable infinity. It's like one step by the next step by the next step. But then you have some things which are uncountably infinite, like the digits between 0 and 1, because you can't even start. You can always create like a smaller digit, right?
Sure.
So therefore, there's some infinities which are like unexpressible because you can't even like start engaging with them. They just kind of are in all of their infiniteness.
Okay, I think I follow you.
So could you not just say God is also just is in all of her infiniteness?
I guess you could say that, but why would you?
Well, that's a different discussion, isn't it? Well, I guess I could say you kind of need God to have like the conception of an uncaused causer or whatever.
But you could just say the universe itself caused itself. Like that would make just as much sense.
Well, then you'd have to stipulate that the universe has, infinite power.
I think that makes just as much sense, if not more sense, because the universe exists at least. So I'd much rather worship the universe itself than a god. If I'm going to worship something.
So, like, let's say the universe is infinite, right? But you say it's conceivable to imagine, like, a space outside the universe. Like, some other universe that exists, like, parallel to ours.
You can conceive of it, but I don't think that anything that we conceive of would be, like, correct or provable or disprovable or, like, based in science or reality or anything like that.
Okay, so you're saying it could exist, we can just never know about it.
Not only could we never know about it, we couldn't conceptualize exactly what that entails. Like, the laws of physics could be entirely different. We just don't know.
Okay. Wait, well, let's quibble about that a bit, right?
Okay.
The laws of physics, you're saying they could be different. But could it be possible that the universe only exists within a certain, like, very narrowly defined concept of, like, what actually is possible within the laws of physics for a universe to even exist, lest it just collapses in on itself?
Sure it could. We don't know. We'll never.
Well, then how can that thing have infinite power if it's so constrained like that?
What if it's constraining itself? I mean, why is God considered to be one of infinite power when he constrains himself to not interfere with free will?
Well, it's not like a constraint. It's just something that can't happen.
Why can't it happen? I thought he was infinite and all powerful.
No. The universe, like, there are various universal constants, which, if we're different, the universe just, like, fundamentally wouldn't be able to exist.
But you can't know that.
What do you mean?
There's no way you could know if, like, another universe could possibly exist with different laws of physics. We can't prove or disprove that. It's just a theory.
So we can't know that there could be other universes which exist with different laws of physics.
We just, or this universe could exist as it is, sort of, with different laws of physics. Like if one atom were to have been scattered differently during the Big Bang, like, oh, could all of physics be different? I don't know. Like, we simply don't know these things. These are all hypotheticals.
Okay. All right, so maybe I'll turn it to you. Why do you not believe in, or why do you describe yourself as a agnostic atheist?
I
Do you
describe
think
myself
these things are just like too hard to, what's it called, reconcile?
I think that religion is largely stories made up by man to try to reconcile the idea that we simply don't know what happens after death. And, it's understandable that people are nervous about that and scared of the unknown of death. But I think that it does more harm to believe falsehoods, things that we can't prove or disprove, than to just accept the reality that we don't know. Like we just don't know, and that's fine. It's fine to not know. That's why I'm an agnostic atheist. I could be wrong about everything. There could be Yahweh up there chilling, looking at me saying, hey, that Alec guy, man, he doesn't believe in me. Fuck him. He's going to hell. Okay. Well, I guess that's just how it's going to be then, because he's never made himself known to me. So, like I what am I supposed to do? Like, if that's how it's going to be, then okay, God, that's fine, I guess. But I just have no reason to believe in God or in gods plural or like anything that has not made itself evident to me. There's no evidence, and there's no way to disprove it. So it's scientific. It's scientifically inert. The theory of religion. It is just scientifically inert, and that's why I don't believe.
Okay. You said science there. Like, don't you think science is kind of like confined by virtue of being like naturalistic?
My understanding of how the universe is extraordinarily confined to what I can personally understand. And if I can't understand why, like, if I can't, like, I go off of what I can see and I go off of my senses. Anything that I can sense or anything that somebody can explain to me why I am sensing it, for, like atoms, for instance. Like, I can't see atoms, I can't sense them, but atoms are explained to me in such a way that I can conceive of and understand why. Like, it helps me understand the universe better. You know what I mean? And religion doesn't do that.
Okay. Well, now's a good time to tell you I was BSing you throughout that whole discussion.
Oh, I believe you. No, I
yeah.
kind of caught on to that.
Yeah. You seemed like you wanted a chud argument, so I'm like, let me channel all of my, religiously raised experience to give you some content.
Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. It seems like we have people joining, and they just like... Man, I don't know if people know to get into a voice channel or not.
Yeah, well, sorry for eating up your time with what is, quite frankly, a bit of a pointless discussion.
No, please. There's nobody waiting. It's all good. It was an interesting discussion.
Yeah, hopefully I channeled enough of the chud to to convey my point.
Nah, it was fun. Thanks for coming on again. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, have a good night, Mr. Gunter.
You as well. I'll see you. All right. Once again, shit, my bad. Once again, we are doing call-in debates. If you would like to debate Mr. Gunter over here on anything, you can join the Discord, which you can find in the description of the YouTube live stream. Or if you go to my site chat, you can find it on the website as well. You can type !Discord and join via that. You cannot do that on YouTube, unfortunately. I don't know why Stream Elements isn't working, but it is what it is. So, he's just as bad as a religious person. Like, it is an interesting argument, I guess, but, like, it just doesn't add up. You know, like, okay, why can the universe just not have created itself? You know? Anything? What do you mean, anything? I generally don't like people doing that, but he was nice and chill at least. Yeah, like, again, it's not something that he personally believed, but he did take the mantle of it and run with it pretty well, so it was interesting. It was an interesting discussion. But yeah, if you want to talk to me about anything, even if it's not a debate at this point, like, if you just want to discuss stuff with me, it's fine, I guess. This is just a practice, like, vertical stream, just to try to get some new audience members. I don't know if it's working or not. I'm having a decent time, though. Do you ever stream during the day? It's 1 a.m. for me, and I want to debate, but, like, not right now. I usually stream closer. Like, it is also 1 a.m. for me, so we're in the same time zone, my friend. And I usually stream, like, 12 hours before this. I didn't get to it today. I don't know why non-religious people advocating for propped up religion. I usually see that with, like, conservative atheists trying to say that, like, religion is what upholds society and keeps people, like, sane and whatever, but, like, it's just so dumb. Bro, if I come on right now, we sound like RFK Jr. I mean, it's fine. How you doing, Roman Omen? Roman Omen's in YouTube chat. Go subscribe. I hear rumors that he'll be making content, maybe. Debate all drugs being legal. I could debate that. Yeah, I think all drugs should be legal. Or at least decriminalized. Even heroin. I just, like, there's no reason for people to go to jail just because you do a drug, you know? I think that all drugs should be, like, available. Like, take cigarettes, for instance. The rate of cigarette use has gone way, way down. I should have stolen that. And it's not because we made cigarettes illegal, it's because we made it, like... I'm not religious, but there is a need for it. I disagree. I don't think there's any need for religion. I think that, like... anything that you do with religion, you can do with an anime club. Just as easily. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I'll vote. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I don't see any need for it. Alec, your opinions are so based and good that we can't seem to find anything to disagree on. That's fine. This was mostly supposed to be opened up to conservatives who want to jump in, but apparently they're not jumping in. We had one earlier. It was Prompt Gnostic, but he joined and then left. So... I don't know. We'll see. I might go a little bit longer. I didn't plan to go super long. I just bored. What we got? Give me that. Give me that. Open my present. I got a loot box. Oh, soy. What'd I get? Polio Caliente. That's gay as fuck. I voted for Trump and will be doing so again. Oof. Oof. Rancid. Rancid. Why? For why, though? You need to put a bunch of lies in the title, otherwise they don't bite. What lies? If you are joining the server in order to debate me or discuss anything with me, you can do so if you jump into a waiting room, okay? Any voice channel will be fine, but there is one that's called waiting room, but it has a lock on it, and I don't know why it has a lock on it, and I don't like that. Permissions. Sync permissions. What about a discussion on democracy? When you ripped into that Fez guy, you definitely upset a lot of authoritarians. I mean, I'd be open to a discussion on democracy if somebody wants to come into the chat or come into the voice and talk about it. Joe Biden versus Trump, I'm Trump all day, but why? Project 2025 is not good, brother. But yeah, I'll debate democracy. I think democracy's based. If you don't like democracy, then I don't like you. Have you ever taken a look into Canadian politics? From the general consensus, Canada is about 10 years behind the US, although Alberta is going down that rabbit hole faster than any other province. Well, that sucks. The only voice channels I'm seeing in the server are Voice General. Well, hold on. Hi, Winry. Hold on. Voice. Not private channel. Waiting room. Why is it locked? Permissions. At everyone. View channel. Connect. Speak. Okay, that should work. Okay, now you guys should be able to see the waiting room. Stop messing with that, turd. Okay. We got a new one. We got one.
Oh, jeez.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
What can I do for you?
Hold on, let me mute you because I got you on the stream.
Oh, no worries.
There we go.
Anytime.
All right. All right. Nah, just because that's the thing where you ripped into that Fez guy or whatever. That's what made me like subscribe to your or donate to the Patreon thing. Super pro democracy.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, but what like one of the because I just like to go. One of the big things that they always discuss is that I see them anyway. I'm bad at like arguments or whatever. You think I'd be better being a teacher or whatever, but but no, one of the things is you can't trust the masses, they're idiots and blah blah blah, whereas being in the scientific field, my whole thing is many minds are better than one. If you think scientists are genius, you are wrong. I have been in the lab where people have lit themselves on fire. The sprinklers have come on. People have boiled alcohol and bad things happen. But no, generally, many minds, even if they don't seem the brightest, many minds are better than one idiot running things.
Oh, for sure. No, I agree with that.
But yeah, the argument usually goes is, what if you have a person who like earned their right of kingship, and they are smart, and you have a smart leader, and I discussed there's many democracies are a minority in the world. They are. So, my argument was, if you do have that person, it still doesn't beat, the many, like a million, normal people. It's just how it works. If you have that, that's why if you have the, I want to go back to my lab reference. There was an experiment we were doing, a lab. We were trying to cultivate bacteria that could be heat resistant.
Mm-hmm.
So we got E. coli, put it in a petri dish, and this would take place over the course of a minute. You put it at a temperature higher than normal, cultivate it over a longer period of time, try to get that heat resistant bacteria. The drawback is, if you work by yourself, to try to get heat-resistant bacteria, you're spending a lot more time in the lab.
Okay.
You also need to record more stuff. It was great working with a large group, great working with many people, because it was my freshman year and I had no idea how a college lab setup exactly worked. So so you had one person who knew what they were doing, kind of good, but and we sort of like bounced off of her. She was great. But
Okay.
my area of expertise is biology, so I was really good at, basically handling all the grunt work with inoculating the tubes. We had another guy, really good, fantastic handwriting. And despite all of this, like despite all of our troubles, despite almost killing the cultures, we got done faster than the one, I guess you could say, like upperclassman. He was like a senior or something like that. Just because a bunch of us idiot kids working together.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm rambling. So
No, it's okay.
first time on the online. So back to the. So even if you do have a good ruler, the real power from the whole being the ruler is allocating resources and stuff like that. And if we look at pretty much every dictatorship in the world, it's always their friends, and it's always like their idiot friends. It's always
sure.
So they always pick Donald Trump's a great example, picking like idiot family members, picking radio show people, TV news people. It's never a scientist. It's never someone who's professional in the field. It's always like a guy who kisses the best ass.
My main argument against that would, okay, let's say you have somebody who says, okay, what if you have a good king? Like the king does everything right, blah blah blah, right? It's the best king. Okay, am I allowed to vote him out of power? What if one day he wakes up and he decides he wants to kill all the newborns? You know what I mean? Okay, am I allowed to vote him out of power? Am I allowed to say no, you can't do that? That's my thing. That's the ultimate counter to me, is okay, what power do I have against this king if he becomes corrupt? Because that can happen to anybody at any time,
Yeah, and that's the second argument I see is your church, because they apparently they do differentiate a king between a dictator, whereas I don't see a difference, but they claim a king is controlled by his council, or an aristocracy. But then again, it's like what you said, it doesn't really stop the whole issue. King can say no.
Yes.
But I guess in their world, they think it's always hard for others, especially when you're like middle class, upper middle class, or even in our country, our America's standard of living is pretty high compared to the rest of the world. But so it's really hard to sort of visualize. You're not the person on top. You're gonna be under the boot.
Yes.
And I think that's where it comes from. It's always, I'm going to be the one who's like the advisor to the king. I'm going to be part of that aristocracy. I can rein them in. I can be, control the reins of power to prevent stupid decisions. But
right, it's they're arguing in favor of monarchism, and they're like, oh, the stupid masses. You're part of the stupid masses, dumbass.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes, that's the thing. It's like that family that went to, that Canadian family that went to Russia and were surprised when you couldn't speak out against the government.
Yeah,
you're not special. You're not going to be part of that upper echelon. That's not how that works.
Right.
But I think it's part of a weird thing because when you're, well off or better off, you think you're gonna be, but it's really hard to picture yourself as the peasant.
Yep.
So, but there was a thing I wanted to roll off of, but sadly I forgot it. It is like
That's
what
okay.
2 a.m. here for me or something like that.
Yeah, it's getting close to 1:30 for me. So
Yeah, no, and like I said, teacher, so my sleep schedule's all not great.
nice. Yeah, my sleep schedule is usually fine, but I'm just not tired right now, so I slept a lot today.
Yeah,
So
that's yeah, no. But great talk. I mean, I keep making them really upset because I do like seeing I do like seeing when holes get punched into the whole like dictatorship is great worldview.
Oh yeah, no, it's so stupid. I can't stand people who like actually unironically believe that. So,
I
um, but yeah,
yeah
thanks for coming on and discussion. I appreciate it.
yeah. Thanks for practice discussing talking in front of an internet audience.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. You take care,
All
okay?
right. Yep. Have a good day.
You as well. See ya. All right, we got somebody else waiting. I am reading chat just so you guys know. Hello, tipster. Welcome. Let's move this guy in. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I just
Good.
joined in and about to kind of type out what I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Though I was rudely interrupted by you, Mr. Alec Gunter. But no, seriously.
Sorry.
It's all good. Well, the main thing really was uh about the upcoming election, I guess, because
Mm-hmm.
while I plan on personally still voting blue, as Project 2025 is absolutely still a very scary realization that can come true should we not. It's becoming more and more, I don't know. I don't mean to get doomer, but
Mm-hmm.
it is certainly not looking very good no matter what you vote, because your choices are vote third party and contribute nothing, if not contribute to the right, vote right, which is obviously the wrong answer, or vote blue, which is just not a good answer anyway, right?
No, I think voting blue is
So,
the best answer.
yeah, it's the best answer. It's just not, it's like you know, kill 25 people or kill 30 million, it's the best answer, but people are still getting killed. It's kind
Oh,
of
for
hard
sure.
to
No, for sure. It's not the best option for sure, but it is the best option if only we had a better one, right? Like, but we don't. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That was
yeah.
well, that was the main point to get across, but then I kind of wanted to ask you um what do you think would be the best way to get something like, ranked choice voting, which would allow for a third party to potentially have any shot? There's some, I forget the name of the guy, but the guy who went to like the Tea Party and then realized the Tea Party was bad and then went to some other third party and they're not great either and he still has no shot at winning. I don't know if you know who
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, but he's like the big third party this time around, but still no shot.
Uh, I think I remember. I can't remember their name, but I think I know who you're talking about. But like, as far as getting ranked choice implemented, the only way that is actually like that even has a chance of being accomplished is just to keep voting as progressive as you possibly can, because a truly progressive candidate will understand that they are hurting their own chances, like in some ways by implementing ranked choice voting. Like if they're running on a Democratic ticket, but they wouldn't care because they're principled. You know what I mean? And that is, I mean, in my opinion, that's short of like violent actions. That's really going to be the best way to do it.
I mean, on that, I guess, I guess another question would be, would we kind of have to be forced into like, not so much even violent protests, but I mean, some form of harsher protest than anything that we have so far. I mean, with the Palestinian protesting, it's like it's crazy, but nothing's getting done anyway. Like we have to do fucking months worth of advocacy and having our voices blasted across every aspect of the internet and to the politicians interrupting conferences on an unheard of scale. And then it's like Joe Biden weekly standing in front of the podium like 6 weeks ceasefire. That's kind of it. Thank you. You know.
Sorry, what was I'm sorry. I missed some of that. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry.
No,
It's
it's
just
my
like
fault.
no, it's good. Uh like what do you think would be the best next step? Would it be to just continue like on the same path that we're going right now, even though, it's just any way that you look at it, it's just not working, specifically with stuff like the Palestinian protests? Or do you think like a more, I don't want to advocate for like a specifically violent string of protesting, but like something, man, I don't even know.
Well, I'm
Like
certainly open to
something,
something I'm certainly open to hearing something out, but like you said, short of something violent, I just don't know what else we would do. You have to keep advocating for the most progressive candidates, and that's about all you can do. Like during the primaries, I voted against Joe Biden, but during the general election, he's going to be the front runner. There's simply no way around it. So it's either going to be him or Trump, and at the end of the day, I'm going to pick Biden. Now, after that,
yeah, same.
after that, we can start talking about, what do we do? Well, you have to start getting involved locally. If you want to personally make change in that regard, you yourself have to become involved. And you do that with local action. Sorry, I'm trying to, there we go.
No, no, you're
So
good.
that's really the only way you accomplish that. You just start boosting up candidates that are progressive in your area. You get them into those positions that nobody really runs for, and you just hope something sticks. Like local activism is huge, and it's not done nearly enough, even by me. So that's and that's really the best way to feel useful as well, because I was looking at my local candidates and I had no clue who any of them were, frankly. So, and most people don't, and some people are running unopposed. And it's important to tackle that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's all just grassroots movement is the answer. You just got to keep grinding, and it seems hopeless sometimes, but it seems Sisyphusian. But
Yes,
what else can you
certainly
do?
nowadays, but yeah.
I mean, what else can you do? Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just not at the point. Until my means of survival are taken away from me, I am not at the point where I'm going to do a violent revolution. I'm simply not.
Yeah.
And I'm fine admitting that. So until then, it's just grassroots movements and electoralism.
Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of the answer I had too. It's just, trying to see the general outlook you got on it all.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh, shit, probably, but nothing I can think of right now. I am a good bit tired. I just literally saw your stream, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I'll come in and ask about it.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm starting to get tired too. I might end soon, but until then, um, we'll keep the room open and see if anybody else wants to come in and give a shot at debating the old Alec Gunter.
Yeah. Good luck with
All
that,
right.
man. Thank you for having it.
Absolutely appreciate the call. You have a good night.
You too, man.
Man, he got the mic drop. Get him? I'm not seeing you get him. Well, we mostly agreed. Shit. There we go. Bro, why would you do that? Dumbass. The Discord is open for debates, people. We are open for debates. That's right. You too can debate me. All you must do is join the Discord and get into the waiting room, and I will pull you in. Joshua Silverstein, I just said I'm not voting. I cannot like Biden and not be a Trumper too. I'm not going to try to convince you, but I really wish you would vote. You know, there's a lot at stake in this election. Son of a bitch. Gunter, what's happening? We're doing a little vertical live stream. Do we have to debate? You can if you want. You don't have to. I'm just waiting on people to come into the waiting room. Invite Brent on. I mean, if Brent wants to join, yeah. I don't see why you would not vote. That's my thing. I don't see why you would not vote for Biden over Trump. You guys like my trans vehicle? Not this. This one. Got a little whale on it. How do you feel about Joe Biden? I don't like him, but he's better than Trump. So, whatever. I will play with the shitty hand I've been dealt. Can I call in just to compliment your beautiful shiny head? I guess I won't say no. Here, we got somebody in the waiting room. Hello? Mr. Swarm? Or Mrs. Swarm? Or other Swarm? I want to talk to you to ask how I can be a massive Chad like you. Thank you, Tipster. I appreciate that. Son of a bitch. You can be a massive Chad like me by advocating for trans rights. That's how. Swarm, you need to unmute, buddy. Okay. We'll pull in Roman Omen then. Roman Omen. What do you want? What's going on? Y'all gotta unmute. Roman. Because I refuse to participate in an election where I dislike both candidates. I'm tired of it. Okay, well then I guess you're fine with... Like, if you're just basically saying that you have a neutral preference between Biden and Trump. Which, if that's your stance, then, you know, I don't know how much attention you've been paying. Because Project 2025 is very bad. Would love to chat, but one of my cats would most likely be controlling the narrative. That's fair. Saying permissions. What do you mean permissions? You can unmute yourself. Hold on. Permissions. speak. Okay, Roman Omen, I'm going to kick you if you don't start speaking. Hold on. Some people were able to do it. Let me bring Swarm back in.
Hey, oh, is it working now?
There we go. Hello.
Oh, awesome. First off, wanted to say I enjoy your work. I discovered you from one of your Jubilee things.
Ah, one of them.
Yes.
I think there was only one of them, actually.
Was there only one? Well, that's where I originally found you. So
interesting. Okay.
Good stuff there.
Well,
I don't think I have any real contentious debate material. So I guess I'll just ask, would you describe yourself as an anti-theist?
That's a difficult question. I think the world would be better off without religion at all. But I don't know, like, in the current zeitgeist, I understand that's not going to happen anytime soon. And I think that there are religious people that are fine. Like, I don't know. Probably not, honestly. At the end of the day, probably not. Just not in the same way that, like, other atheists would, probably.
Like the militant type. I feel you.
Yes, exactly. I think that there are some very militant atheists who are like, well, if you believe in religion, then you're just a bad person, and I just don't think that. So
yeah, I don't think we choose our circumstances, and most people that believe religion were like brought up under those circumstances or stumbled into them, usually in a time of need. Yeah, I was gonna say, I more or less agree with your premise because you worded it very carefully here. I also agree that the world would probably be better off if religion wasn't dictating the way most people viewed things. I think like cultural religiosity is one thing, but fundamentalism is a really dangerous thing. Ultimately, I care about like good acts and stuff, but yeah, no, I think I agree with your premise there.
Okay, I think we all, I think both of us agree on that then.
Yep.
Yeah, my personal view of it is religion exists, we got to deal with it, so whatever. Like, as long as you're not hurting other people, it's fine.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. I guess I don't really have much. You said that you weren't looking specifically for debates or whatever, so I was like, whatever, I'll say hi.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you take care of yourself now, and keep making the good content. I appreciate your nuanced perspective.
Well, I appreciate you appreciating me, Swarm. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Take care.
Of course, have a great night. All right, let's pull Roman of Omen back in. Hello.
What up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, Roman?
Hopefully my audio is not terrible. My voice is cooked, though.
It's not the best, but I can understand you. What's up?
Oh, nothing. The religion topic kind of keeps cropping up, and I feel like I got a lot to kind of say about that, or at the very least, I think religious discussions are less about trying to prop up which propositions are more correct than other ones, or try to give people like um, decent motivators. Like, oh, well, for this reason, this is why you should be like this, or why you should be like that. I mean, advice is advice. But when it comes to that kind of a thing, the other guy kind of had it on point. Like, these things are kind of like culturally and regionally perspective. I mean, it's part of the world. It's a part of reality. You're not just gonna, wish it away. And I think we all kind of understand that. Like, it's pretty integrated with how we all live. Humanity has lived all the way up to this point. And kind of like gender abolition and other stuff like that. It's interesting to think about like concepts like meta modern and just trying to. It's better to kind of educate yourself perspectively and widen your perceptions as to why do people get to the point of this or believe this or do things this way. It has a reason. It has a trace. Like how we can say, racism in the 18th century. These were the common drivers, kind of. So much like that. That's the same with most all human behavior, and you know, it's. I guess it's just it doesn't make enough sense. I guess I'm not saying anyone's doing this on purpose, but like religion can't just be written off entirely. Like it's not that just like, oh well, some people's religions have pretty cool rule sets and they have some interesting, thought experiments and like that's great and all, but it's the fundamental impetus as to why people are religious to begin with, and that mythopoetic literature basically interprets reality. It's not about external locus of authority being way up on beyond the heavens that dictates things. It's why did people think of things that way? And why was that a necessary thing for people to think and believe in? And what is it indicating? And basically, what is the progressive future of this concept? And that's when you get into meta religion, and that can be explained and dived into in a multiplicity of ways. I guess that's just kind of my niche, my interest, my little specialty. But yeah, just whenever the religion comes up, I'm just like, ooh, you know.
Okay. Yeah, just giving your input. I understand. Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. Religion's not going anywhere, much like gender. So we got to work with what we got. I'd rather people just. Oh shit! I can't believe I just got that. I'd rather people just be happy with their like if you can be happy with your religion and also not hurt people, who am I to argue with that? You know what I mean? Like, as long as our concept of religion is progressive and we're not infringing on people's rights, I'm fine with religion existing. I still believe that we'd be better off without it simply because the belief in religion precludes like a willingness to believe in things for which you have no evidence, or for which at least that you can't disprove. And I don't know to what extent that I'm okay with that. Like I like being able to look at things in a scientific way. You know what I mean?
Well, of course, like, so this is the thing is where we might personally advance or progress to a point of clarity and depth perception. And we look at other people and we're like, well, I mean, this little old Buddhist lady, like, you know, she's chill, she's vibing. Like, she doesn't really get all the stuff that I do, but there's no way I'm coming into the latter part of her life correcting her, and we just kind of gotta be able to meet people where they're at and approach them from where they're at and kind of see things from their perspective first and foremost before we think that we can kind of come in and basically rattle their cage. Like, um, and like my perception of God, like no one can disagree with what I understand is my belief in God. It's not exclusive to me personally. I'm sharing in sort of a big elephant theology, sort of an idea. Um, my mentor says that everyone actually is correct. They just don't understand why. For instance, and then that goes for everybody, not just religion, but just anything that people disagree on. It's sort of, I guess, think of like a universal human soul fragmented into different separate parts, and all the little vessels are holding the same light that all the other vessels are holding, and it just manifests and comes out differently. And it's basically at game. It's interacting with itself. It has to fall into kind of like an unconscious state and then awaken from out of that. But I'm not trying to get too woo-woo on you here, but that's kind of the mythical imagery that I'm sort of getting at. And we all do this personally ourselves. Our stages of growth are indicated by how much we die, whether it's an old perception that dies, an old environment that dies, whatever it is. It's this, order, disorder, reorder scheme. And the Eastern Orthodox church sort of has this, and it's not super popular, but hundreds of years ago, old guys had this idea called, epictasis. And it's basically just saying that it's continual transformative development onto the next goal, the next greater thing that leads to this progression of happiness, advancement. And that's kind of what made all of this. My ability to kind of turn and see that progressive politics actually was like a legit thing, because I was a conservative not even 6 months ago,
Right.
And I'm like, oh my god, this stuff makes sense. And if anyone's ever heard of Richard Rohr, um, he's been around a long time, and he's the guy who says, when your theology is good, and don't think of theology like you got to go to Sunday school. I just mean whatever it is you think about.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out quite a bit. Sorry, I'm not understanding everything.
Oh, sorry about that. What was the last thing you heard?
I'm trying to follow you, and there's a lot of high level important ideas that you're spitting at me, and my brain is not at full capacity. But I'm doing my best.
Pretty good. I've been up since 4. I worked today. I had to run around after work. My voice is fucked, but it's like, I just like this kind of thing. And I was just bringing up Richard Rohr and college.
Gotcha.
Progressive Christians are probably some of the best people that, your audience, Vosh audience, whoever, people that are into this kind of a thing would really appreciate what those people have to say, because they're not telling you, oh, Jesus this, and you got to believe, substitutional atonement, and you got to be obsessed with all the blood, and you've got to believe all the Old Testament, whatever. It's like, no, it's pretty functional. It's pretty fluid. It vibes with just about every other thing that people would think of in terms of a progressive thought modality. Just wanted to share that with people. That's all.
No,
hey, sorry, I couldn't really debate you. I can bring back the alter ego and be like, well, they shouldn't be teaching gay and black stuff in school, because of course a progressive thinks of that differently, but from the conservatives' perspective, they wouldn't put it that way. That's the thing. I think we ought to really kind of attempt to steel man the conservative position instead of always ridiculing it, because obviously me kind of turncoating, I'm thinking like, well, shit, I thought that my stuff made sense, but it doesn't. Like, all that stuff that I thought was legit wasn't, and I'm kind of understanding why now, and it's because you just ridicule and you don't defer to the information that's on the other side, or what the actual thinking process is.
I agree that you should steel man the other position to a certain extent, and I agree that like you can use religion as a guide to progressivism for sure, but I don't know, I don't think it's a necessary component. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm getting really tired, so I'm sorry I'm not engaging very well, but you're not coming through the most clear, so I think that I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And then I'll bring Noxie in for a little bit, and then I'm gonna call it a quits for the stream.
Hey, yeah, you're good, man. Thanks, okay. Everybody.
Yeah, no, thanks for being here, and go follow Roman Omen if you're not already. You can drop your link in the YouTube chat if you'd like.
No.
Alrighty. All right. Sorry to whoever else was waiting. I saw that you were in there. I'm going to bring Noxie in for a little bit, and then I'm going to be done. Hello again.
Just 1 second. I'm having some mic issue here.
No worries. Do you think you'll do another one of these some other day? Maybe, but this was kind of spur of the moment, so I'm not sure.
It's not going through my headphones for some reason. I'm not sure if the phone audio is very great.
Okay.
Not working for some reason. If it's not working, I hope the audio isn't too bad.
It's not terrible.
I'm not sure my thought. I'll just move on from it. I'll just take it off. Okay, so now I gotta think up my wording. So basically, my question would be, where do you think the how do you say it? Where do you think our moral line is when it comes to bad things happening to people like Stone Toss was the example that came to mind. With his
I think
recent quote unquote doxing, which was just like public information that got found.
I think overall, if it results in more freedom for more people, then it's usually fine. Like, I'm sure that you could find some exception where I would say no, that's not okay. Like for instance, like if you take away the freedom of one like in an extreme hypothetical of like, okay, well, if you kill this one person, then that will free 10 other people. Okay, no, like you don't get to infringe on people's individual liberties for, you know, when they're not hurting anybody else, obviously. But I think in terms of like Stone Toss and Nazis and yeah, I can't bring. Oh my god, I can't believe I lost that. I can't bring myself to care that much when they get doxxed. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I wouldn't do it, but if someone else does it, I just don't like. I'm not gonna encourage other people to do it either. Don't dox people, never. Don't do it. But like, the dude sucks. Like, okay, if that's what it takes for him to just shut the fuck up and go away, then I just don't care that much. Like, I don't have a super nuanced opinion on it, I guess, but that's kind of where I sit. I can't bring myself to care if it's somebody terrible getting doxxed. You know what I mean? Like Chaya Raichik or something. Like, she's doing shit that is resulting in bomb threats to children's hospitals. Okay, she got doxxed. Wow. It seems to me that she shouldn't have made people go after children's hospitals with bomb threats, huh? You know?
Yeah.
So, where exactly do we draw the line? My line is, don't dox people. You shouldn't do that. You know, whoever doxed Stone Toss shouldn't have done that. Whoever doxes, you know, lives with TikTok shouldn't have done that. You know, like, whatever. But I don't feel that bad for them.
To be completely fair, it's probably not the greatest example because in Stone Toss's case, it was completely public information. It wasn't like a full-on, like, know your IP address, get your family's address kind of doxing. It was just, oh, hey, we found this. You know, and I think that's the same with Chaya. But, you know, it was just the most recent example that came to mind of someone who, you know, hid behind a persona for so fucking long and then caused all this. You know, he was in the, what was it, Buffalo Shooters Manifesto, like, predominantly in there a whole bunch, and then, you know, gets all pissy when that information comes out and, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if it's like public information, if you make yourself a public figure, you do lose a bit of privacy. Like, my privacy is compromised because I've made myself a public figure. If somebody finds my last name and decides, you know, I'm going to fuck this guy's life up, I'm not saying that I deserve it, but, you know, there is a greater risk of that happening to me, and I accepted that by virtue of becoming a public figure. And if you're going to become a public figure and you know, antagonize people, then you're kind of at a certain point, you know, go ahead.
I think that's like the main thing is like, because, you know, technically people that, you know, lives with TikTok with Target and like teachers and stuff, they're public figures, you know, they're like government workers and stuff. But the difference is they're not going out and antagonizing anyone, you know, they're doing something quote unquote wrong in the eyes of those people, you know, like Chaya Raichik and all that shit. And that's why they think it's okay to, you know, put innocent people's information and where they work out online for shit like bomb threats to go through. But then, you know, they get all pissy when the same thing gets done to them through similar methods. And, you know, I mean, Chaya Raichik made like a whole thing of it where she kind of did a rebound in a sense, I guess, though it seems like Stone Toss is doing not that, luckily. So I guess the line is kind of like, it depends on what they've done, right? Because in a sense, it's not too different, the situation between the TikTok or whatever and the teachers that they target. The main difference would be their own actions and the kind of, I guess karma would be the best word that they put themselves into, the karmic situations where, you know, their own fucking wrongs come back to bite them in the ass, and all of a sudden, you know, their faces in the dirt.
But yeah, it's talk shit, get hit, right? Like you're bringing it, in some ways you're bringing it on yourself. It's like, okay, I don't advocate for people doing it, but you pissed off a lot of people, Chaya. You pissed off a lot of people, Stone Toss. Like, yeah, it's gonna happen. You know, you kind of brought it on yourself by being a shit person. So I'm not that sorry for them. And frankly, like whatever methods it would take for bomb threats to not go to children's hospitals, I'm fine with people taking. If it takes Chaya Raichik getting doxxed, okay, maybe that's what it takes for her to not encourage people to send bomb threats to a children's hospital. Okay, if that's the only power that we have, then I can't say, I'm not going to advocate for it, but I'm going to say that Chaya Raichik getting doxxed is not as bad as a children's hospital getting bomb threats. That's all I'm saying. You know?
Yeah.
So fuck it. At that point, I just don't care. It's a difficult line to draw, especially in the context of like what I'm allowed to say on YouTube, frankly. But
yeah, I don't mean to put you in any sort of situation. That's why, you know, I keep making sure to not.
No, I appreciate that.
You know, or try and force you to say things that, you know, I don't.
Right. You don't strike me as a Fed. It's fine. But that's kind of where I stand on the whole thing. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm basically right there with you. It's, I guess the best way to put it is how you said, you know, talk shit, get hit. Like,
yeah,
it shouldn't be advocated for. And just to, you know, clarify, I don't advocate for any sort of doxing, even if I feel that the things that happened to them weren't exactly, but it's still, you know, not a great thing to do anyway.
It's the same way where it's like, okay, let's say that you go into a black neighborhood and shout the N-word.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly.
Do I advocate for you getting stabbed? No. Are you probably going to? Yeah. You should have done that, dumbass. Like, duh. Like, you should have done that. So, and I feel the same way about getting doxxed when you're a fucking Nazi. You know? I'm not going to feel that bad for you. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I figured that would be your answer or something along those lines.
Yeah.
My dog, I don't know if you heard that. But yeah, I was just curious. That was another thing that came to mind. I was like, you know, probably a good thing to ask him. It's an interesting topic at least, and it's kind of, God, that was that a week ago with the Stone Tossing? I mean, I don't know.
It was not that long ago. I know that. Weeks feel like months sometimes, but
a day online is like a day in the real world is like a year online. So
yeah,
it's hard to remember everything.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna probably hop off of here in a second, but I appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, not to brown nose or anything, but big fan. You know, I'm happy to have had these couple talks with you. I do kind of have to go to sleep, so.
I appreciate that very much. You have a great night, okay?
You too.
Alrighty, thank you. Oh man, okay. I gotta be done. There's a lot going on in YouTube chat, holy shit. This is an interesting experience for sure, not exactly what I expected. I appreciate everybody that showed up. Brent, I disagree with you on your voting take, and that's okay. I'm not going to convince you. Just please don't go around convincing others to not vote. That's all I ask. Okay. I'm going to get out of here. But let me see if I can at least host somebody who's live. Who's live right now? Beer Bash Johnson live? No. Sorry, that was Beer Bash. Okay, I don't see anybody who's live. I'm just going to end. Okay, thank you all for being here. Love you all. Appreciate all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Had some good discussions, some fun discussions. No debates, but hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. So this is interesting. I don't know if I'm going to do one again. But I did get a lot of views, so there's that. I didn't have my monetization on for most of it, but whatever. I'm frustrated as well, Joshua. I hear you, but I do think voting is important. So anyway, if there's a debate panel of viewers in the near future, I'd love to participate. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for being here, Chloe. Everybody have a great night. Love you all. Get into the Discord if you haven't already. And I will see you all on the next stream, whenever that is. Take care.